On January 14, 2008, there was another tragic accident at Texas City Refinery. This was the third fatality at the refinery since the March 2005 explosion. I am Bill Warwick, one of 3 board members of the United States Chemical Safety Board, or what we call a CSB. CSB is an independent, non-regulatory federal agency established in 1998, and we're headquartered in Washington, D.C. Our mission is to investigate significant chemical accidents and prevent future accidents through safety recommendations and outreach. Last year, on March 20, 2007, we issued a comprehensive report on root causes of the explosion at BP Texas City Refinery in March 2005. That accident, which occurred during the startup of the isomerization unit, caused 15 deaths and 180 injuries when hydrocarbons were released from a blowdown vent. The hydrocarbons ignited, and the resulting explosions and fires killed workers in nearby trailers. We also investigated a serious hydrogen fire at the Texas City Refinery in July 2005 that caused $30 million in property damage in a hydrotreater unit. We issued our final report and recommendations in October 2006. The findings and recommendations of the CSB are, we hope, leading to major changes in process safety at BP and at other oil and chemical companies. Some of our key recommendations dealt with trailer siting, the use of blowdown drums, mechanical integrity, operator fatigue, process safety indicators, corporate oversight, and federal regulatory enforcement. In August 2005, the CSB made an urgent recommendation to BP to establish an independent panel to evaluate culture and management systems at the company's 5 U.S. refineries in Texas, Indiana, Ohio, Washington, and California. The panel, chaired by former Secretary of State James Baker, completed its report in January 2007 and made extensive recommendations to BP for improved safety leadership, oversight at the corporate level. The CSB reports and makes recommendations, as well as the Baker panel report, are available from our website, csb.gov, under Completed Investigations. On January 14, 2008, there was another tragic accident at Texas City Refinery. This was the third fatality at the refinery since the March 2005 explosion. A BP supervisor, Mr. Joseph Gracia, was fatally injured when the top of a large steel filter housing suddenly blew off in the refinery's ultra-cracker unit. This unit is across a roadway from the ISOM unit where the 2005 accident occurred. And in fact, many of the victims from 2005 were involved in projects in the ultra-cracker. On behalf of all of us at the CSB, I extend my deepest condolences to Mrs. Gracia and Joe's other survivors and loved ones. Today, the Chemical Safety Board is announcing that we are proceeding with a full investigation of the accident that caused the death of Mr. Gracia on January 14. The goal of the investigation is to determine as precisely as possible what happened to cause this unfortunate event and to make recommendations to BP and others to prevent similar accidents in the future. Conducting this investigation will take a number of months. In deciding to proceed with this investigation, we weighed a number of factors. These factors included the severity of the accident, the likelihood that hazardous chemicals were involved, and the learning potential for BP and other refiners that operate similar hazardous processes. Consistent with the CSB's procedures, we also considered the serious nature of accidents at the Texas City refinery. Over the past 32 years, a total of 41 people have died in workplace accidents at this site. BP has cooperated with the investigation and has provided witnesses and information on a voluntary basis. And I will ask CSB lead investigator Don Holstrom to provide an update on the work of the CSB investigative team today. Don?
Thank you, Mr. Wark. First of all, let me join you in extending my condolences to all of those affected by the accident. The CSB investigation team arrived in Texas City during the week of January 14th, and we have been actively working here since then. Up to 4 investigators from Washington, D.C. have been at the refinery on an ongoing basis, examining the scene, conducting witness interviews, identifying physical evidence, and gathering documents. We have in place a 3-way agreement among BP, OSHA, and ourselves ensuring preservation of the accident scene for investigators and providing procedures for evidence testing. I would particularly like to thank OSHA's inspection team from the South Houston office for the excellent coordination for our 2 ongoing federal investigations. Over the past 3 weeks, the CSB team has interviewed approximately 35 witnesses, including several who were in the immediate vicinity when the accident occurred. The information I will describe today is based on a variety of sources, including witness interviews. I strongly emphasize that all information is preliminary and is subject to modification and refinement as the investigation proceeds. Findings, root causes, and recommendations are only final after a vote by the board members. The accident that killed Mr. Gracia, an experienced BP supervisor, occurred just before 4 p.m. on Monday, January 14th in a section of the ultracracker unit that was in the beginning stages of a startup after a prolonged shutdown. The ultracracker uses high-pressure hydrogen gas, which is highly flammable, to break apart or crack petroleum molecules similar to diesel fuel. The hydrogen gas used in this section of the ultracracker is not pure, but instead is a byproduct of the refining process. Before this hydrogen is used in the ultracracker, it is cleaned or scrubbed with water in a tower to remove impurities such as hydrocarbons, hydrogen sulfide, and chlorides. Wash water from the tower is filtered to remove solid impurities. The accident occurred in the filtration system, visible in the 2 photographs here at the front. Here is the filter vessel where the incident originated. The lid was catastrophically ruptured and eventually ended up in this location here of the filter vessel. The filter housing shown here was normally filled with processed water and operated under a moderate pressure. It was secured in place by 24 large steel bolts. When the accident occurred, most of the bolts were either sheared off or stripped. Bolt fragments were propelled a large distance away. To blow the filter lid off in this manner required a very significant force, likely well in excess of the normal operating pressure.